Hey everybody, this is Steven from PopCultureMaven.com. We're back with this week's new comic book reviews. Kind of a light week. A fair amount of titles. Probably one of the biggest things is the first thing that's up this week, which is the original graphic novel House of the Unholy. This is the new original graphic novel written by Ed Brubaker with artwork by Sean Phillips, and the basic. The rough story is FBI agent from cult crime and a woman with a past to the satanic panic movement are hunting down this. They have to work together to hunt down this killer, and it involves religion, ghost, haunted houses, all sorts of crazy stuff that only Brubaker and Phillips can deliver. Once again, these original graphic novels are always a big win. They're always really great to look forward to when they do come out. They usually come out once, sometimes twice a year. There's actually been two this year. The second one, depending on their workload. And, it's a really good deal. It's a great graphic novel. It's got I think the cover price is $25. It's a really good deal. Plus, here's the important part. This is really why, one, you need to support your local comic shop and why you need to pre-order. Because if you pre-order and they order enough, they get sent this signed book plate, signed by Ed Brubaker and Sean Murphy. And like I said, if you pre-order it with your local comic shop and they order enough, they're able to get these signed bookmarks that you can put in your book. So that's a really good thing. Once again, they're doing it to support your help local comic shops. That's why they do that signed book plate, and they've been doing it for quite a while now. So check with your local comic shop and see if they did in fact get, the book plate. If they didn't, just in the future, if you're going to order one of the books, which is always pretty easy order, check with them and see if they're going to be able to get the book plate. So hopefully, they will, and then you can get a signed book plate to go with it. So on to the regular books this week. First up, we have Jonny Quest, #1, written by Joe Casey with artwork by Sebastian Perez. As you know, as I've said with Space Ghost, I'm a really huge Hanna-Barbera superhero fan of the 1960s Hanna-Barbera superhero shows like Space Ghost, Jonny Quest, Herculoids, Frankenstein Jr. There was a ton of them. So this story, it really would help if you read the Free Comic Book Day, which is the 0 issue. And what the basic story of that is that Dr. Quest, Race Bannon, Haji, and Johnny and Bandit were out on a boat. The boat gets struck by lightning, and when they come back to their Key West compound, it's very different. And in the 0 issue, it's kind of left as a mystery of that. So this first issue picks up right from there. So like I said, it does help that you have read that. But you're not entirely missing too much because they do reference what happened in the 0 issue to get them there. When they go to the island, they discover that it's different but very familiar at the same time. And then they discover that it is actually, they've been transported to the future. How that happened, I don't want to really give it away. There's kind of a, technical animation reason for it. But it's very interesting, and there's a really neat twist at the end of the issue, which I will not give away. The one thing I do like that Casey is definitely honoring the original series, which is really important because there have been, Hanna-Barbera over the years tried many attempts to revive. There was like the real Jonny Quest and stuff, like tried to modernize it. And I think that's where kind of the problem was. And, Casey's done the wise thing. You can't really set it in the 60s, but you can update it, but without changing what made Jonny Quest so popular over time. I mean, it was popular when it came out, but obviously, people have grown up with Jonny Quest over the years, the original 60s series. So, he's very smart in keeping what makes Jonny Quest work while also putting it into, somewhat the present day. Now, we don't know what year it is. I assume it's present day. But that is really a wise move. And he doesn't break what's not broken. And that's really what I liked about it. And Perez's artwork is really nice. captures that Doug Wily feel of the original animated series, and it's a real shame. I would love to see because Kamiko back in the I believe the 80s or 90s did a Jonny Quest series. It was really good. There were a bunch of like different artists that worked on it and stuff. It'd be really nice if somebody could reprint that, but unfortunately, a lot of the art files and stuff from Kamiko pretty much been lost to the wind. So, but we do have this new one, and I would say it's well worth definitely checking out this week. I really enjoyed it, and I think if you're a fan of Jonny Quest, you'll definitely like what Casey and Perez have done here. Next up, we have Barfly #2, with the script by Kyle Starks, with story plotting by Kyle Starks, Patton Oswalt, and Jordan Bloom, and then the artwork is by Ryan Brown. So this picks up after the first issue of Barfly, aka Shit Eater, which is his real name. And so the entomologist, who is his, villain, because he's a henchman, breaks out of prison and comes, and he's back to go get his entombment bracelet, but it's not really in a secure place. It's actually in a museum because when there's a flashback to with the entomologist, and they basically cut his arm off with the gadget on it, so it's just on display in a museum. So he basically convinces Barfly to go in and get it for him, and then he ends up taking off, and then of course the superheroes come because they know the entomologist is broken out of jail, and they come and question. He comes and questions Barfly. It's like, well, you better find him, and Barfly's like, I don't know where he is. So that's kind of where we get in this issue. This is in the Minor Threats universe, and what's really great about this universe is that was created by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom, and the artist Hepburn. It allows other people to come in and like do stories like Barfly and just do whatever they want. There's kind of no walls around. There's no continuity that they need to deal with. And that's what really makes these miniseries and specials really fun. I'm a huge fan of Kyle Starks, and he is the perfect writer for this story, because first of all, he's writing a character that doesn't talk. So, you have to get things across. And that's really where Ryan Brown comes in, because he has to come up with these facial expressions for a bug that has no lips or no anything. So but with the entomologist, he's able to talk to him kind of through thought. And so that does help. We see a little bit more dialogue from Barfly in this issue. But I'm a really big fan of this book. If you haven't read Minor Threats, definitely go pick up the trades of that. But the good thing is you can read Barfly by itself and totally, you don't necessarily have to read it. I think it just helps you enjoy that universe, kind of more. But these books do, this side book does stand on its own. And so it's well worth picking up. And, once again, Stark's script is really good. Brown really nails the art. I really, he's the same artist who did 8 Billion Genies, which was brilliant. He brings a lot of that really great kinetic energy to this. It's a really great looking book, really good story. Definitely well worth picking up. Next up, we have X Factor #1, written by Mark Russell with artwork by Bob Quinn. Now, this is, I believe, the last of the regular X books that are coming out of the Fall of Krakoa era. And this one was probably the most one I was looking forward to because of Mark Russell. Y'all know I'm a big fan of Mark Russell. And the great thing about it is it's definitely very much Mark Russell being Mark Russell, but in kind of like the X-Men universe. So the basic premise here is that Roger Broderick, he's a, PR extraordinaire, decides, to put the X Factor together. So he gets Angel, Pharaoh, Fire Fist, Zyber, Cameo, and Havoc together. And so what his plan is, he takes them on a PR tour. And, people are still kind of not keen on mutants at the moment. So that doesn't go so well. But he convinces the U.S. government to send X Factor in to stop, to kind of infiltrate a Russian mutant team, mutant uprising over there, a team that's getting together. Basically, they're a mutant team for hire. Whoever the higher bidder is, they'll go after whoever you pay them to go. So they go there. They kind of, it doesn't go entirely well because they're not really, kind of connected together as a team very well, but they get the job done. But then also, Havoc's not in the original. He comes a little bit later in the story, and I don't want to really kind of ruin any of that. What I really like about this is it's not an X book. It's not like a superhero book, and that's what I love about it. And I also came with a lot of, because I really love what Peter David did back in, I believe it was the 90s with X Factor, where he took a bunch of the X team, X-Men that nobody wanted, and he created this really wonderful run of the book. And it was really great because it was very different, and, because nobody cared about those characters, David got to do whatever he wanted to, and that's what made it great. And that's what I'm liking what Russell is doing here, is he's kind of got some of the B and C characters that aren't, really big and well known, but it allows him to kind of do these, kind of superhero type stories. And that's what I really like. And Quinn's artwork is really perfect for this because a lot of it's like dialogue, but he's really good at facial expressions and getting everything across. I really love this book, but I've noticed some of the early reviews have not been super kind to it, but that's what what they don't like is what I like about it. So if you're looking for something different that's not totally just X-Men doing X-Men stuff, this is the book for you. I really like this, and so far, this one and Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men are really the top winners of this relaunch. So I really highly recommend this. I really like this a lot. Next up, we have Action Comics number 1068, with the main story written by Gail Simone, with pencils by Eddie Barrows and inks by Danny Mickey. And then the backup, Lois and Clark in Love at Work, written by Rainbow Rao, with artwork by Cyan Tormey. So the main story, and I kind of picked it from last issue. In the opening credits, it says, dedicated to the two all-time giants, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, who did the Superman versus Muhammad Ali. So I think Gail is definitely building off that type of story for here, because what it is there's two alien races that are battling, for they want to destroy Earth, and Superman's been picked as a champion to save Earth. And so what it is the alien race is having Superman do these things to save Earth, while there's a giant intergalactic gambling ring going on at the same time. So there's a lot going on here. This issue, we saw that Metropolis was cut out of the Earth, and Superman has to save it from, they're letting it drop back down. Superman has to save it, and then he has to save the bottled city of Kandor, and, get through like a barrage of assaults and lasers, and, so he has to do that. So, this is a second part of a 3-part, it's just a 3-part story. I really like what Gail Simone's doing here. It's a lot of fun. She's really enjoying, you can feel the love that she has for Superman and Lois and Jimmy. It's just it's a fun, very self-contained story here. Barrow's artwork is really fabulous. This is really good looking stuff. And I can't wait to see how it gets wrapped up in the next issue. And then the backup is a lot of fun by Rao and Tormey. So basically, Lois is editor-in-chief now, and she's taken Clark off the off the Metro beat that he's been on forever, and he's not too happy about it. So he's not happy at work, and he's not happy at home. And it opens up with dinner with those two and John can say, hey, there's something going on. And Lois is like, we got some work problems. So that definitely, that's a lot of fun. Rao and, like I said, Tormey are really doing a nice job. It's a nice, fun story. kind of about the, how married life and work life sometimes don't go together so well. So that's really good. I'm really enjoying this, and like I said, it's a 3-issue run. I really like the first issue, and the second issue's done really nice, and I can't wait to see how Simone and Burroughs wrap it up in the next issue. Next up, we have Transformers number 11, written by Daniel Warren Johnson, with artwork by George Corona. So basically, the Decepticons have built this portal to go to Cybertron, which is kind of above the Earth, and they're using the power of the sea to power this portal, which is just sucking up fish and killing them because Energon is energy, and so they've captured a couple of the Autobots. The Autobots are, struggling a little bit because they need to stop what's going on, but they also need to go and save the couple Autobots that's been captured. There's a bit of infighting going on with the Autobots, and they go to rescue them, and it doesn't go great, but it doesn't go badly. But it's like there's now a problem with them trying to escape. So that's where I'll leave it. Daniel Warren Johnson's doing a great job on the script, although I'm still very bitter that the Autobots just keep getting the crap kicked out of them every issue. It's very sad, but once again, you have a heroic story where they have to be beaten down so they can rise up and be heroes. He's doing a great job, and then Corona's doing a really wonderful job on the art. Really just gorgeous artwork, a great story. And once again, I thought I would never say, hey, I'm really excited about Transformers comics, because this book is really wonderful. It is so good. And it's just a must-buy book every month. So definitely continue to pick it up. I'm excited to see where Johnson and Corona take this from here. Next up, we have Gilt Frame, written by Margie Kraft Kent and Matt Kent, with art by Matt Kent. So what this is, that is Matt Kent's mom, Margie, and apparently she's a huge murder mystery fan. So what they've done is, this is a story of Aunt Mary and Sam. Sam was she adopted him when he was younger, and so as he grew up, they really liked murder mystery and solving mysteries and things like that. Not just murder mysteries, but solving puzzles and things like that. So Mary decides to go to this auction because she wants to buy some gilt frames, and they're not kind of what she wanted, but there's these 2 chairs that she decides to buy. And she's bidding with some other people, and then it comes down to her and another guy, and then it was an online guy, and he has computer problems, so she gets the chairs. So this person who really wanted them tries to offer a bunch of money, and she's like, maybe there's something going on here. Why does this guy want these chairs so bad? So she decides to have them sent to Paris to get them appraised. And so originally she takes them to the appraiser, and then he's like, oh, they're kind of not worthless. But then there's something going on behind the scenes. I'm trying not to give away too much. But basically they go to find the appraiser, because there's something going on, and they can kind of sense something. They go, and he's been murdered, and there's the chairs. Something has been taken from the chairs. So a little bit of a spoiler there, but not too much, because there's a lot of details in there. But I really like this book a lot. It was a great read, great setup. We got to know the characters really well. This is going to be a really fun ride. If anything like this first issue, I believe it's 3 issues. 1 of 3. And if this first issue is any indication, this is going to be really good. So, and once again, I'm a fan of Matt Kent's art. I know it's not for everybody, but I really do like it. I think I really enjoyed this book a lot. And, I'm not I think we all like murder mysteries, but this was really, really character driven and everything. And I really like that a lot. And I'm, like I said, I'm a fan of Kent's art. I thought he did a wonderful job on the book. And it's really good. Well, we're checking. Definitely a must buy this week. Next up, we have X-Men number 2, written by Jen McKay with artwork by Ryan Stigman, penciling, and J.P. Mayer, inking. So this is the second issue. So this is really Cyclops' team. And so what the second issue is that there's a mutant in San Francisco that is, just kind of developing his powers. And he, they kind of use their Cerebro to, hey, that we need to go find him, help him, rescue him. And when they get there, there's all these aliens, that they have to get through to try to get to him. I don't want to really give anything away, but there is a twist there. I did really like the first issue because there was a lot of character development. This was more of the second issue was more action, superhero-ish kind of stuff, which was fine. But it really, for me, didn't really move, kind of the characters forward a whole lot. There's the teamwork and everything, but the second issue was a little bit standard superhero stuff, which wasn't terrible, but wasn't, didn't have, to me, as much thought in as the first issue did. Now, I will say Ryan Stigman's art's really wonderful. He's really doing a great job here. I just kind of worry a little bit because it for me, was a little bit of a downgrade from the first issue because the first issue was, so character driven and everything. And now the second issue was just kind of a basic superhero story. So we'll kind of see where the third issue goes. So, this one, like I said, was a little bit better, but we'll kind of see the second issue was a little bit on the wobbly side. So we'll see where it goes in the third issue. Next up we have S.I.R. Number 1, S.I.R. Written and drawn by Fell Hound. So what the basic premise is Avery's girlfriend Nico was accepted to Bridal Ham Academy, and so she goes and she's able to get in to try to reconnect with Nico because she's lost touch with her and doesn't know why. And while they're there, Avery discovers that there's this underground motorcycle jousting tournament in the school. And that Nico is like one of the contestants in the Battle Dome. This was really kind of mediocre. It was really kind of sad in the sense of it's just like it kind of failed because I didn't really get to know the characters very well. That was a problem. The artwork is kind of okay. I don't think it's terrible. It's not awful artwork. It's just really basic. And there's sometimes where it's just like, there's kind of, like no faces on people in the backgrounds. And you really just notice that kind of stuff. And there's also kind of sometimes a kind of a lack of backgrounds. As I always say, color is not a background. It's just, once again, I think really the fail here is not so much I think the concept is not bad. I think the actual plot is pretty okay. The problem is it's just the execution because we don't really get to know either Avery or Nico very well. I mean, we get to know Avery and kind of her backstory with her parents and stuff like that, but we don't really know why. Oh, well, why have they not talked? Why hasn't Nico returned the calls? And it's just like, it's just not, sadly, not that good. And it's a real shame that I think it's a good idea. It's just like somewhere in the execution doesn't quite work out so well. And finally, this week we have Precious Metal number 3, written by Darcy Van Poltergeest with artwork by Ian Bertram. So once again, this is part of the what is it? I can't remember the name. But it stands on its own. Little Bird, that was it. That was the original book that they did together. And then this is kind of, I don't want to say a sequel, it just takes place in the same universe. But Max, basically has been looking for this boy. He was hired to find this special boy. And he's basically what it is, the Disciples of 12 have kidnapped him. And Max, after the last issue, discovers that somebody has betrayed him and knows what's going on with this boy and everything. And so the Disciples of the 12 are trying to use this boy to get rid of the old flesh and kind of create the world in how they want it. So, that's not going to work out well in the long run. So Max has to go try to find the boy and basically rescue him from somewhat possibly destroying the universe. So there's also an underlying thing with his partner, and I don't want to give that away. Once again, this book is kind of weird, but not so weird that you don't understand it. There's a lot going on, and it'll all come together. Like I said, like Little Bird really came together at the end, and not that any of it didn't make sense. It was just it's really one story, and you're just getting these little single issues. But I really love what Poltergeist is doing here. I really love this story. The artwork by Bertram is absolutely stunning. I mean, this is a gorgeous book. And it's just really this kind of bizarre kinetic energy of a story that, it's really, in some ways, it's about Max and his relationship with his daughter who's been kidnapped. And, he's trying to, save this boy and also save his daughter at the same time. So it's kind of, there's a lot of about family here, family and friends. And that's a really great undertone to this story that I really, really like. I really have been really impressed by this book, and it's well worth checking out, but I think it might be tough to find the first couple issues, but this is also one of those books that might also really work really well when you read it in one shot. So if you really can't find the first couple issues, you might want to wait for the trade when it comes out. But if you can still find the first two issues in this issue, I definitely think you should pick it up. I really like this book a lot. And it's well worth checking out this week. That's going to do it. Like I said, kind of a small week, but some really good books. Really nothing that was terrible. A couple that were disappointing, I think is really the best way to say it. But as always, public service announcement. I get all my comics at Pulp Fiction Comics, Long Beach, California. Ryan Skinner runs a great store. There's Annie, there's Wendy, Derek runs their socials. The good news is that they have fortified the store. He had a break-in during the weekend of Comic-Con. The door's been fixed and everything, and he's getting a new security system. So, once again, it's very important to support your local comic shop no matter what. They are the real backbone of the industry, and it's really important to, like if you pre-order books, definitely pick them up on a regular basis. And also, make sure that you do pre-order your books because, I know in the case of Ryan, he can't always afford to get shelf copies. So if there's something that you want, like definitely order in advance and they'll definitely order it for you. So, but make sure you pick them up when you do. But as always, support your local comic shop no matter where that is. Because like I said, they're the real backbone of the industry. And as always, we end our show with Be Kind. Be kind to each other, or little B there. Thank you, Debbie and John. And, be kind to yourself. I mean, things are tough. Trust me, I've had a very rough day today. I've had some car problems and hopefully they're going to get fixed, but I know how down you can get. And once again, try to look at the bright side of things. Hey, look, new comics came out today. It's a great day, for all, get to read comics. But be kind to others and be kind to yourself. Like I said, trust me, I know how you can get down in the dumps. But try not to let things get you down. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, just like opening a door, acknowledging people's existence. It's really important to be kind with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. But, being kind to yourself and being kind to each other is just so important right now. That's going to do it this week. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, and please share our review videos. It's always appreciated. I'm still working on the stuff from Comic-Con to get those up. Like I said, I got a little waylaid this week with the cars, so hopefully that'll get it taken care of and we can get things back on track. So, but thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for commenting. It's always appreciated. And as always, take care of yourselves. This is Steven from PopCultureMaven.com signing off. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.